She didn't. She didn't. She had to force him to release the beast that was in him. And when it was released, it was glorious. Hi wonderful people, and welcome back to my channel, Book Craves with Giselle. What's up? How are you going? Now, I already did a video with some of my favorite paranormal romances. I went from very dark PNRs to lighter paranormal fantasy, and this video I'm going to talk about soulmates, or fated mates. But these mates, they were rejected. How can you reject your soulmate, your fated mate? So in these books, each of the heroine, they were rejected by their mates. And yes, it is heartbreaking, but eventually, yes, they were mated. What I like about these stories is that things are not as simple. In a lot of shifter romances, you would see where once they find their fated mate, they come together, yes, and they have their trials and tribulations after, because the mating bond was so strong and so intense, they mated immediately. However, with these, the ones that I'm going to talk about, things did not happen the typical way that it usually happens with fated mates. In these books, when their mates discovered that this was who they were supposed to bond with, they rejected it. They basically had nothing to do with them. They tried to push them away. Listen, and it was heartbreaking until they realized that no, I need her. I need her. And I love books like that. The bigger, the tougher they are, the harder they fall. And they were brought to their knees by their mates. So love that. So if you'd like to know some of these books that I am talking about, then keep watching my video. Make sure and give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and make sure and check out my other videos. So let us get started with these heroines that were rejected by their fated mates or by their soulmates. I did a video on the Breed series written by Lora Leigh. All right, absolutely love that series. However, there are two books in that series where the heroines were rejected by their mates. People are searching for their mates, their soulmates, their fated mates for years. They find theirs and they reject them. Like, hello. So we have Coyotes Myths and Navarro's Promise. In Coyotes Myths, this mating takes place between a human and a coyote breed. Now, Del Rey, he is working with the breeds that have been rescued to rescue other breeds that are still in the laboratories. So then we have Anya, and basically her parents were one of those scientists working in the laboratories, and she decided, you know what, no, I don't like this, it's very inhumane. And she works with Del Rey for 4 years to rescue these breeds. And throughout those years, she developed feelings for Del Rey. When the time finally came and they mated, he was overwhelmed by the need to mate and claim and possess Anya. But he was so overwhelmed and so shocked by it that he didn't know what to do. And he initially turned her away, locked her in a room and all of that. So he rejected her first. And then when he finally came around and understood what was happening with his body and why he had this intense reaction to mate with her, she rejected him because she didn't want him no more because of what he did and how he treated her. And this went all to like the breeding council, went to court and all of that. Loved this book. And for 1 year, they were separated. To be separated from your mates after you have bonded is like really extreme.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
This story is one where there was a build-up And then you had action and adventure. This is one of my favorite books within this series. And Anya, yes, she was rejected. Listen, you broke her heart. What do you think is going to happen? And she turned around, and what did she do? She rejected you and broke yours.
Damn!
And then he had to humbly come to her. He was a tough cookie to crack. That is what I enjoyed about this book. Del Rey was a hard cookie to crack. He did not go down without a fight until it was almost too late. And then we have Navarro's promise. Now he is a wolf and his mate is also human. Navarro is one of those breeds that were created to manipulate and create sabotage and infiltrate places. His breed DNA is so hidden that he can pass as human. And when he realizes that Mecca is his mate, he rejects her. He doesn't want anything to do with her because he is scared of what will happen, because there's a particular society that wants to capture mated females to experiment on them to find out why they became mates, what has changed in their DNA and all of that. He is scared that this is going to happen. He has experienced loss in his life and he doesn't want to become too attached to anyone. So yes, they bond, but mating heat starts between the both of them and then he stops it. He is able to reject her on a molecular level to the point where he breaks the bond after it was established. However, she still remains in mating heat and it's possible for her to mate with someone else. Like, this book blew my mind. I literally was just like gobbling up everything in this book. These two books were so good. Navarro's Promise and Coyotes Myths. The rejection just made the relationship so much intense. It was so emotional. It was heartbreaking. Oh my God. It was literally one of those emotionally arresting books. These two, oh my gosh, loved them. It not only had action adventure, but how the females reacted to that rejection. They did not take it lightly. They did not just, wallow in their defeat. Oh, he doesn't want me. No, they still fought back. They weren't the type to fight, but they fought back with whatever strengths that they have. Emotionally and mentally, they were strong, and I loved that about the heroines in this book. Oh my God. Mecca. You had Mecca and Navarro in Navarro's Promise. Now, Mecca didn't take what Navarro did too lightly. She didn't. She had to force him to release the beast that was in him. And when it was released, it was glorious. So, love these two books. Definitely check them out. Next, I read Rejected by Jaymin Eve. This is part of a series called Shadow Beast Shifters. Y'all, book 1, Rejected. It is a slow burn. Full stop, straight up, it is a slow burn and it is so intense and you will be rooting for the heroine. In Rejected, we meet Shadow and Mira. The book is basically centered around them. Mira, she is a 22-year-old wolf shifter. Her father attacked the alpha of the pack and was killed. She has limited friends. Because of what her father did, she was bullied and tormented in the pack. All right? That's how it starts off. But things get interesting when that time comes where they have their first shift, and they have that at a particular moon at the age of 22. Otherwise, they have to wait for the following year in order to shift into their wolf or change into their wolf. And when she does this, she realizes that the son of the alpha is her true mate, her soulmate, her fated mate. And He is one of those individuals that have been tormenting and torturing and bullying her. And when she realizes this, she starts in her beast form. She starts sprinting to her true mate only to be rejected. And because she was rejected, she felt this earth-shattering pain. She was so devastated that she was able to latch on or touch the shadow realm and was able to release some of the shadow creatures. Now that is how the book started off. This is not your typical shifter series. This is not your typical shifter book. You have a bit of magic, you have a lot of supernatural beings. In the story, you meet a vampire, meet a fae, you meet goblins, you meet all of those otherworldly creatures or beings you meet in this particular series. And because of that, she's able to call forth the shadow beast. And the shadow beast is the person that actually created the wolves. And he has been shut out from his actual world because of someone that betrayed him. And now, because the heroine Mira, she was able to release these creatures from the shadow realm, he now kidnaps her and is forcing her to open the shadow realm so that he can go home and become the leader that he was supposed to be. This book has so many twists. Some persons, I guess, didn't like it because, I don't know, maybe it was too slow for them, but things really picked up in book 2. I am thoroughly enjoying this story. I have book 3 to read, Reborn, because in book 2, something happens. I can't really say it. But Marina discovers that one, she's not a regular wolf, that she was never a wolf, that she's actually a creature or a product of the shadow realm, which is why she was able to do it. Her friend betrays her to the point where she wipes away all her memory of everything that she was doing for over a year and a half with the shadow beast. The shadow beast and Mira, they mate. They are actually soulmates as opposed to Mira's wolf mates. Like, this book is excitement. The twists, the turns, there is nothing more to say. This is a really phenomenal fantasy book that you need to read. She was rejected, and then she ran into the arms of someone else who also kept rejecting her until they could no longer reject her. And then she ends up back into the arms of her original soulmate who rejected her. And the heat does not pick up, the spicy steaminess, it does not happen in book 1. All of that gloriousness happens in book 2. So, okay. So this one, Feated by Liza James. Really, really liked this book. In this book, it is not a shifter. We don't have breeds. In this one, we have angels and demons. Yes, yes. We meet Luna and Elijah. Elijah is a fallen angel. He did something when he was up above and he lost his wings. And then we meet Luna, and that is where everything is centered about. Luna, initially, she was kidnapped with a group of women and they all got murdered. However, Elijah came in last minute and he was like, no, and he saved her, only to discover that she is not human, but she's not an angel, she's not a demon, she's actually both. She's half angel and half demon. And she doesn't know her parents, she doesn't know basically anything about her background. She wasn't even aware that angels and demons and all of these supernatural things existed, which is what makes this book so interesting. So she was dying, and the only way they could save her is if they bonded with her. So, but Elijah already had a really bad history with being bonded to someone else, and he just wasn't going down that road. And when his brother Nathan tried to bond, she rejected the bond, although she was dying, and Elijah had no choice but to bond with her, only to realize that they are fated, and fated mates It hasn't happened in decades. It is not something that happens, and when it happens, for some reason, they are murdered, they are wiped off because they become too powerful together. So in this book, you have this mystery surrounding Luna's parents, the fact that this angel or Elijah is able to bond with an angel demon individual, and that has not happened before. She's their first kind that they know in terms of existence. And then you have his brother that might be a fated mate to a succubus. Like, there's so much going on in the story, but it all flows well. You have kidnapping, you have her being rejected by her mate to the point where he invites someone to live with them so that they don't mate. This book is one that is entertaining. It is a page turner because of what happens. The story development is there, the characters, you love the hate, the betrayal. In this book, you experience all type of different emotions. You become frustrated, you become angry, you become heartbroken, and if a book is able to make you feel those things, then you know you are reading a good book. So definitely check this one out. Loved it. Now, this would be I can't remember but how many books I've mentioned by this author on my channel, but this next book that I'm going to talk about, it is written by Amelia Hutchins. I love her books, and this one, it is called Alpha's Claim. And in this book has triggers, as with most of Amelia Hutchins' book, triggers. So be prepared for that. In this story, we meet Brillin and Saint. Now, Brillin, her mother died, and she has literally been the backbone of her pack. Her father is an evil alpha. He doesn't really care about people. He has been challenging other alphas, and then he disgraces them in a way where he sends them away. And when Brillin meets her fated mate or her soulmate, and her father finds out, she is forced to reject him. His name is Saint. She is forced to reject him in front of her pack. That is devastating. That is heartbreaking. And she does it because of the pack. And she has no choice in doing this because of who her father is and how powerful he is. Fast forward 10 years, Saint comes back to claim his mate. He's now the king of the alphas, so that he actually created a pack with all the alphas that Brillin's father defeated and shunned. He creates this strong pack. They have been traumatized, mind you, and he comes with them to claim her, to overthrow her father. But things isn't as simple as that. Like, this book really takes you on an emotional roller coaster. You have her friend betraying her. You see that girl? It's always your friend that betrays you, you know. It's always your friend. She is betrayed and she's lied to in this book. And yes, he came back to claim his mate, but Saint came back to do it for revenge. It wasn't just about claiming, but it was about revenge for one, how he was rejected in front of her pack, rejected by the alpha, how he was treated by the alpha. This book, it is so good. You are going to love reading this book. Love reading this book. Like I said, all of these books, they have something unique about it. And Amelia Hutchins, she's one that doesn't disappoint me. Her writing, it's perfection. Her writing is flawless. Her stories are entertaining. Her stories is one that it grabs you and literally transports you into a whole different world. The settings and everything, it's clearly depicted. Love her books, and I absolutely love the story. Last on my list is Carnal, and it is written by Suzanne Wright. Now, this book is book 3 in the Phoenix Pack series, and in this book we meet Shay and we meet Nick. And Nick and Shay, they know that they are mates. They know that they are fated mates. But Nick keeps rejecting Shay. And yes, he would come and look for her just to make sure that she's going well. Yes, they are part of the same pack. But she is constantly reminded that Nick keeps rejecting her, rejecting their mating bond. And you know what she did? She left. She left the pack. And when Nick realizes that she left, now is when he wants to meet her. Like all the time she's there, all the time she's open and willing to form their bond and establish their bond and, you know, be mates. You know, she's there being heartbroken over and over and over again, and nothing. So she leaves, and then he chases after her and claims her as his mate. Yes, in a nutshell. But obviously, you know, there's more to the story that I just cannot reveal. What I loved about this book is when Shay finally gives up on Nick, that he's surprised, that he is stunned, that he is shocked about this. Why he shouldn't be. Should he? No, he should not. And because of this, he has to work so harder to gain back her trust, to gain back what was already freely given to him in the beginning. Listen, Carnal, do you hear the name of that? Do you hear the title of that story? Carnal? Yes, it is steamy. If you have read book 1 in this series, then you know what to expect for the rest of the series. With Shay and Nick, there's a lot of things going on in the background besides their whole mating and or trying to mate or re-establishing that bond between them. There is a lot of things happening, people dying and so on. So yes, definitely check out this book. This brings me to the end of my video of some awesome paranormal romances to read. These are not too dark, but they're just right and they're just perfect enough. There are the paranormal beings in these books. You have the shifters, you have the demons, you have so many other paranormal beings within some of these books. Some of them don't have any. It's just about the whole mating thing. The mates are being rejected. If you enjoyed these books, make sure and give my video a thumbs up. Make sure and like my video and subscribe to my channel. Hit that notification bell so you know when I post a video. Follow me on my social media accounts. Book Craves is on Facebook, on Instagram, on Goodreads, as well as Twitter. I post what books that I'm reading and also books that I want to read or plan to read. So look out until I post another video.